Hey there, welcome to the Mom War series. I am inviting my friend, Hayley Bomisberger. Hello, Hayley.
Hi, so good to see you, Lynn. Thank you for the invite. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for joining me. She's an awesome mom of three. She's going to tell us about your kids.
Oh, you guys. So I have three kids. I have a set of twins, which, to be honest with you guys, I only wanted one little girl. And then I got pregnant with twins, and they were both boys, So, and then 9 years later, with a new marriage and, life settling down a little, we tried for another one and just knew it was going to be a girl. And surprise, boy. But I'm so blessed to have three boys. I love them so much.
I love that, especially with what we're planning to talk about today, which is intuition. Mother's intuition. It's like, oh yes, I just feel I have a beautiful baby girl. Oh wait, what?
There must be something wrong with this. I knew it.
that wasn't my plan, and I already decided. And well, oh, okay, so now I go with the flow. But well, good for you. That is awesome. And yeah, the question is today, and we know what you're thinking because we all have mother's intuition. But the question of the day is mother's intuition real? Is it something you can rely on? Is it kind of there sometimes and they're not there other times? I don't know. So let's dig into that a little bit. I mean, what do you feel about mother's intuition?
Oh, shoot. I love what you said about, is it real? Because so many times people will say, oh, it's just, I don't even know where that thought came from. And they just kind of, toss it away or clean it up like, every other thing that happens. And for me, it's like I've always really tried to dig deep into that mother's intuition. And especially because I used to tell my kids, I may not know where you are, but someone I know does. And I really mean, my neighbors and friends and things like that. But really, it's like when you listen to that intuition and you feel it, the other thing that I love to kind of tune into is, am I feeling it in my heart or am I feeling it in my gut? Because when we get gut sick or worry, then sometimes, just a thought or somebody might say something like, oh, I think there was supposed to be a hurricane today. That worry, might disrupt the intuition of, is everybody safe? And really it's kind of like, okay, check in. Where are my kids? Is everybody okay? And just trusting that intuition or that thought process of, yes, everybody is okay.
Mm-hmm. It's really good. It's like that mom knee jerk we have of immediately safety. Is everyone okay? Even though intuition can be on so many different levels, just like, hey mom, hi, how was school? Great. Straight to the room, and you're like, it was not great, and you feel that in your gut, like, okay, all right. And you don't brush it off and go, okay, I'm going to make dinner. It's like, how am I going to go after that a little bit and just kind of poke at it? Cause they don't want to talk about it right then, but how you can find out. And so, yeah, just listening to that.
Well, like you said, listening to their voices. So I think the more connected you are with the person. So, I mean, I'm obviously not going to get an intuition about my friend's kid or something, but if I'm connected with my kids and I'm really listening to what their likes are, their, where their journey is or who their friends are or how school is, when I ask them that question of how was work today, and they say, oh, it's fine. I don't even have to see them to know something is off. Mm-hmm. And listening to that, wow, something is going on. I need to ask more questions, or get a little bit more clear. And, I think, Lynn, it would be, I would love to share that in order to do those and to be able to get intuitive or listening to guidance, if you will, is it takes a little bit of self-work, of meditation. I love starting my day every day in peace and quiet, because more thoughts and more intuition comes to me when I'm still or peaceful than when my life is in chaos and I've got the, music blaring and people are in the background fighting or whatever. It doesn't leave space for, listening and having those moments of, oh, something's going on.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a great point that you brought up. And really, your intuition is amazing because it's so funny. I'm working on my newsletter for next week, and it's on meditation. Mm-hmm. And it is so interesting for moms how that connects to intuition, but that meditation part of it, because it's like, when you've got little bitties running around, you're hoping to go to the bathroom by yourself, let alone shut down and have a quiet thought. you know, it seems humorous, but it is possible. And there are ways to set yourself up for that, believe it or not. And then as and as your kids get older and you rearrange your time and rearrange your schedule, it looks a little bit different, and you can make that happen a little bit easier for yourself. And then it's the habit of doing that. It's the commitment. And once you do, you really do see the benefits.
It's absolutely.
So
and I also think it takes practice, don't you? It's like, you can't just all of a sudden go, okay, is there something wrong with my little girl? And just expect some thought to pop into your head. It takes practice of, God, is my little girl okay? And just thinking those thoughts and practicing, because the more I've practiced being intuitive, right? And it's not a weird thing. I think sometimes people think, oh, that's so odd. But feelings and thoughts just come. And they're always there, but they get blocked by, other, people's opinions, or what I should be doing, or what people think I should, how I should look.
Yeah.
Just allowing it to come.
And Hayley, you're so intuitive, and and we've been in some things together, and I think we've learned together. It's like asking those questions rather than, oh, it must be this because they're 6 and that's what they do at 6, or it must be this because they're a teenager and, blah, blah, blah. Or like recently, my daughter was pulling out of the garage, and she was new having her license. She kind of waited longer. She didn't get it the day she turned 16 like a lot of people do. She waited a little bit longer, wanted to feel a little bit more comfortable. Well, she was listening to her music or whatever. I don't think she was distracted, but she pulled out of the garage as it was pulling up, as the garage was coming up. Well, the fin on the top of the car scratched into the garage door, the new garage doors. And so she came into the house and she said, Mom, and I immediately was like, what is wrong? And it wasn't even having to go back and ask that question. Like, I sensed that it was just like, what are you okay? What's up? Like it was like immediate. So, and that goes back to knowing your kid too. And even just a little bit of tone, I suppose.
Tone of voice, body language, body language is a big one. There's been some experiences that I've had where I've just had a thought pop into my head. Like, I wonder where, if Brandon is okay. And it's like, I often go back now thinking, why did that thought just come into my head right now? I bet. And so I've learned to act. And so when I said practicing, and, just like she walked in the room, you're like, something's going on, by just seeing her. And, but those thoughts can come into your head of, God, I should call him and see if everything is okay. And having those phone calls, and then on the other side, having him say, God, I'm so glad you called right now. I just had, a fender bender with a car, and I wasn't sure, where my insurance is for my car or whatever, and just, I think, Lynn, just being in tune to those types of things. And, I think it's so awesome as a mom, being able to, I'm going to just say, plug into the message center that we can with our kids, especially, or our spouses.
Yeah. So true. So true. And then I think it goes beyond that too, the more you practice and stuff. Although I did strike fear in the hearts of my children going, when you become a mom, I'm not really supposed to tell. It's like a mom secret, but you grow these eyes in the back of your head.
In the back of your head, yeah.
And kids don't know, you can't, but if you look close at the back of a mom's head, they're kind of there. And so I can see everything. So I know all. But yeah. And so what about the times, Hayley, that you feel like, because this has happened to me where I'm like, okay, this is happening, or I sense it or whatever, and I'm like dead wrong. Does that make you question it, or feel that, okay, maybe there's this intuition thing doesn't happen?
That's really good, because I've definitely grown through that, and I've experienced it multiple times, especially like if you think your kids are, so say a child walks in from school and she's really sad or crying, and you assume something went wrong at school. Somebody's been mean to her, she failed a test or whatever. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with that. It might be that she just, stubbed her toe walking in the door. Yeah. And so I have learned by just not assuming anything, and really staying in a place of what is people's business is their business. So even though I'll ask good questions, about my son, say he walks in and I know something's up, is it something you'd like to talk about? Is there any, I have an ear if you'd like to just, talk to me or tell me what's going on. But really having an open door and I'm going to say the word boundary of what's my business is my business, what's their business and God's business, and we stay out of other people's business.
Yeah.
So even though sometimes I might have a hunch something's up, I still try not to interfere.
Yeah. It's a fine little line there. And I love it because I think we can be worried and bulldoze in there and go like, okay, what's up and what do I need to fix? And whereas again, age appropriate, or as you pepper it along the way, it's that delicate question. Is that, hey, is there anything you want to talk about right now? Nope. Okay. I'm here if you need to, if you change your mind, I'll be around, or whatever. But yeah, it is that consistent, open communication, that availability, that I'm not going to come in and give you the 5 ways to solve this problem. And especially again, at a certain age, when they start to become tweeners and teenagers and all that, they're wanting so badly to solve it themselves. And we have all this worldly wisdom as mothers that we're ready to impart. But yeah, stepping back and going, why don't I allow them to develop some of their own intuition and go, wow, good. How'd you guess that? How'd you know that? Way to jump on that without me going, yeah, I knew it.
Or I told you so. I mean, who wants to hear I told you so?
No, nobody.
So one thing I want to get a little deeper and a little bit more raw or vulnerable with is, a lot of moms who are watching this might have little kids, and it's like, are they safe? Should they go to the grocery store, walk down the street, and how? But, so there is the mother's intuition of, is it okay for them to go out and play, or is this a safe spot? Okay, yeah. Well, as kids get older and sometimes they want to, they hang out with kids that aren't maybe the best influences. Or they might be saying that they're going out to do one thing and something is wrong with the story that's being told, and so at what point do you step in and say, okay, wait, as your parent and as somebody who loves you, I need to ask you this question, give me more details. And then I think as my kids have gotten older, and we had, some different things come up, especially as they got a lot older, they weren't ready to face some of the trials and lessons that we're going to be faced with. They just didn't understand. And so drugs became something that was an issue. Okay. And as a mom, you're sitting back and you're going, I know something's not right. They usually call, or their voice sounded weird on the phone, or why are they not checking in, or why are they late, and so as a mom now today, I mean, I chalked it up to, it's none of my business. I need to let them, experience it and whatever. Well, now looking back, I would have definitely said there are times when, for me, I need to ask the question, is this a time for me to get involved? As a mother, really, going in deeper and then going, okay, wait, the feeling is gut sick. Like, I'm feeling gut sick. It's that the feeling's there, instead of heart, oh, they're good, they're okay. And listening to that and being able to sharpen those tools of, does my kid need me to step in?
Yeah. And sometimes they just do, but boy, that must have been hard, Hayley, because you don't know that really fuzzy gray area. Like, it is now the time to step in. And what does it look like to step in? What do they need me to do? And what do I need me to do? And they might not even know what they need, especially if it's a situation of drugs. Or
drinking, college drinking, binge drinking, all of that stuff that happens. Yeah. And kids will be kids to a certain point, And so a lot of things that we've experienced have been chalking it up to kids will be kids.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, today's world is so much more intense, and I'm going to say the temptations are so much worse.
And the consequences too, those scare me more. I mean, if I was stupid in college and got all drunk and, I didn't have to worry about like maybe the things at the level that my daughter may have to worry about going to college here in August, right? I mean, you pretty much need to have a designated friend who's a designated non-drinker, whether you're driving or not, when you're a girl in college. And back in the day, we didn't think that way. We didn't have to.
Right.
More bizarre now.
Just being safe, and I think, with our kids, we're doing them a disservice if we don't step up and at least ask good questions.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not easy. It's not easy. It's awkward, and they're going to resist, and you're sitting there going, this is the real deal. We're going to sit down and have a talk. And they're going, yeah, okay, can't wait. Let's make it double long. No, they're just
when you were 3 years old, it was okay, because you would just kind of sit there and listen, and then it was like, whatever. But then things get a little bit more serious at some point, And I think if you keep those really good communications, that was one thing, is keeping a good line of communication, and to where it can be fun, and what are you interested in, or how is your day, and really asking how is your day, and then really listening.
Yeah.
And
not giving up on that, because
No.
they can be, you can feel a little like, oh, okay, here I am again going, how was your day? How's your life? What are your thoughts? And good, fine, friends, out later. It's like, okay, you say 5 words. I'm super proud, or like you really know the top of their head very well. But
maybe if I text you, you'll get the message.
I swear I've done that. I've been sitting there talking to my kid, and they're, and I've texted them, no, really, I need to know, where are you going tonight? And they're like, funny, And it's true. So moms who are watching this with little kids and middle kids and older kids and launching kids, to me, what I have found to be true is it's establishing those patterns. Even if you need to establish a new pattern at tweens or teens or whatever, it's establishing that pattern and trying to be consistent of like, no, hey, it's our time to talk. Or, hey, just tell me one thing interesting about your day that I don't know. Just one thing, that's all. And then you're off the hook. Or making it funny or making it real. And then that intuition comes in again, where you kind of tap in and go, yeah, okay, things seem fine. Or, yeah, okay, I'm going to just keep my thumb on that pulse, because they must be going through a hard time. And then sometimes you find out later, wow, they really were going through a hard time, but they chose to deal with whatever that was on their own, which is really the ultimate goal. So I guess what I'm saying is that the moms with biddies, and as they're growing, is fear not, but do pay attention along the way, and listen hard, like you said.
And know there's going to be days when they don't want to talk to you at all, but having a trust that you can develop, that you're a safe place.
Yeah.
And that you honor what they feel and don't have judgment, leaving all judgment aside. I mean, there's so many things with kids, and it's so amazing and it's so wonderful, and they're the best thing ever, even through the tough times and the good times, the sad times. And, but I think, just trusting yourself, trusting them, and then trusting, because the more we practice our self-care, our mindfulness, our quiet time, and really honoring that. So as you have little ones, if you need to get up 5 minutes early and just have peace and quiet, like one of my favorite things to do, because I was not into meditation for a long time, and now because I thought you had to sit there, and have all these things. Perfect. And really, for me, meditation can be 5 minutes sitting outside with my bottom on the ground, just looking at the grass. And having peace and quiet, and just being open to, the phone's not ringing, the bell's not ringing, the TV's off, the kids aren't fighting, just 5 minutes of freedom and peace. Then you guys, what happens is your mind becomes more peaceful and clear, and can open up to those inspirations,
Yeah. So many things. You can process better. You can open inspirations. Yeah. It sure is a journey and not a race. Oh, and what you said earlier, I loved. It triggered something in me, in that is to stay away from that judgment, but also to not take it personally. Right. When you have this like, oh, my daughter and I are going to do this, and we're going to paint toes every 5 minutes, and we're going to do this and this, and they have something else in mind. It can be little periods of time. It can be really hard. Or when your sons are actively cutting the umbilical cord from you, like in a moody high school way, and you're like, oh, but I gave 16 hours of labor, man, doesn't that count for anything? And, they were there, but they weren't there. They don't know. So it's like, don't take that personally. Like, that's today. And
drop me off down the block. Drop me off down the block, and I'll walk into school, and then don't come and pick me up. I'll walk to you, right?
Do not wave. Do not wave.
Yeah, junior high. It was like, don't let anybody see. And it was like, why? Are you embarrassed, Yeah. And it wasn't that at all. They were just growing up, They
were just, one time my daughter, I dropped her off. She was late at high school, and she started freaking out as we pulled up. And I was just kind of like, what's the deal? And she just wouldn't tell me. And you start to get worried, like, what's wrong? Is somebody being mean to you? Is teacher mean? Is somebody abusing you in school? Like, whatever. You just go, you catastrophize, as Brene Brown says. And it was just that she was a freshman. her first class that day had older kids in it too, like sophomores and juniors or whatever. And she was terrified of walking in 10 minutes late. She didn't want anybody. She wanted to be a ghost and just whoosh and sit down and no one to look at her. And I'm like, well, that's not going to happen. And we had to drive away and go talk about it and just work it through. And like, what would that look like to be comfortable and all that? But there's a part of me that was tempted to go, get out, kid, you're old enough, you're 14, let's go, man up or woman up. But that intuition piece was like, that's not what she needs right now. And she can make up the work or whatever she misses. And so, yeah, we took that time. So, yeah. And then the next day she didn't claim that I was her mom. I've never met you before. You are.
Hey, stranger danger.
Do I have to get in that lady's car? Well, all right. Oh my gosh. I just love it. I just love it. So, good stuff. Good stuff. So intuition, I think we've decided is real for sure. Actually, one time, I will tell this story. One time it's super real. Like no one will convince me that it's not, especially just because this one example. My bonus baby, number 4, we were at the pool. And there were these little girls. They weren't little. They were like 10 and 11. And they were so excited about the baby. And they just wanted to play with her. And I was like, oh, that sounds great. So I put together these chairs, like, those lounge chairs, and made like this playpen. And so they were playing with her and stuff. And the only seat to talk to some adults, I was like, I can talk to adults for like 5 minutes. So I ran. It was right there. It was real close. But my back was to it. And then all of a sudden I saw these girls up at the snack bar. And I was like, huh. And I thought, oh, and I looked over. But even before that, it was an intuitive hit, like, pay attention. Like, I was like, right, And then I looked up and I saw them and I looked over. Well, they had walked out of the little pen and left it open. And she crawled over to the baby pool and had just plopped in and was like doing a face down float. And I was like, what? And I dive over there. And it was just like one of those moments. I can bring up the emotions right now that you never forget. And then I also feel so grateful for that, just pounding, like, pay attention, wake up. It's not what you think. And so many grateful moments like that where, pay attention. What's the worst that can happen? You were wrong. So what?
Pay attention. I was grocery shopping one time and left, I had a brand new baby and I had my purse in the cart and of course the car seat's on top or whatever.
Right.
And by the time I got done shopping, I loaded the baby up and it was new to me, a new habit, a new everything. And I got him in the car and I drove home and I got in and I went to take him out, went to get my purse and my purse wasn't in the car. And I'm like, holy cow. But I felt like I'm missing something. No, the baby's here, the groceries are in the car, I'm good, But I felt like I was missing something. And I had left my purse sitting in the shopping cart. Oh. And so, of course, the moment that I realized, holy cow, my purse, So I drove back and it was like probably 15 minutes. And I drove up and I went to where I put my cart back and there sits my purse sitting there in the cart.
Oh my gosh.
So to me, it was like, and had I not listened, I could have just put the groceries away. But I was sitting there going, I'm missing something, and it kept nagging at me.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, you guys, that intuition is just a nag of, why won't this thought leave my head? Listen.
Because it's knocking on your door. You better answer. Yeah, it is. And I love how you've added the meditation part into this too, because it is that listening, because sometimes they're quiet little nudges. And sometimes they are banging on your door, and the encouragement would be to just stop whatever chaos is going around and going, what is this telling me? What do I need to pay attention to? What do I need to know? Who needs me? What might be going on? And the answer will come. And just take action. Just follow it. It's not going to hurt anything. Trust me.
What I love about getting quiet and listening for that is, why would that thought pop into my head? So say I'm thinking, God, I should call Brandon and check on him, to see how he's doing, out of nowhere. And it's like, why would that all of a sudden, why isn't it, hey, I should call Lynn? And I have that happen all the time, you guys. The quieter that my mind gets and the more that I used to work around the house and I have music on all the time, or the TV shows or whatever. And I've gotten to where I'll listen to some audibles and different meditations, but I love listening to, just nice soft music, or I'll have the door open with the birds outside. And it's amazing the thoughts and the stuff that comes into my mind. And I'm like, at first it was like, well, why are you thinking about that? Or yeah, it just kind of shoved it away. But now I'm very open to, God, that is a great idea.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
need to call that friend and find out what's going on. Because this happened to me yesterday. I was thinking of a friend and I kept thinking of her, and I get working or doing something, pretty soon she'd pop into my head. God, you should check on her. You should check on her. And this morning, of course, I waited till this morning and I'm like, hey, is everything okay? And she's like, yeah, I had a really bad day yesterday, but everything is fine.
That's
So
yeah,
as moms, and I think that's a gift that we have, and it's not, whether you have kids or don't have kids or for friends or, it's like we have a very special, I'm going to say gift, that we just need to learn and practice and be open to it.
I knew you were going to say gifts. I just sensed it. But yeah, no, I agree with your point, and that is definitely, we're given that gift when we become mothers. I think when we become women, I think a lot more women are tuned into that, and I think it's something that we can practice and expand. And I think it does go beyond our kids, and it's really something that can serve you so well. So yeah,
I have to bring this up now because we put it on the table,
yep.
is trust in ourselves. So many times when we're little, you guys, this is something that I've had to learn, is I was my worst enemy, right? Anything that came up, I would always say, oh, well, of course that happens to you type thing. Well, I've really done a lot of self-care and a lot of work on being able to trust myself and how I show up and the intuition and all those things. And I didn't understand why. Like, why is it so hard for us to trust or to depend on, is that thought really true?
Right.
And it's because when we're little, we're told so many times, are you hungry? No, you're not. Go play. Well, they're being mean to me. No, they're not. Go play with them. They're not being mean. Pull in your big girl pants or whatever and get out there and play. Well, I'm tired. You must be tired. I'm not tired. Yes, you are. Come and lay down. And from a very, very small age, we're taught not to trust what we think and what we feel.
Yeah.
So we put a little kibosh on that bright light and of that intuition. And so as we become more aware, that's why I love meditation and I love quietness and I love stillness, is because as I have learned and I've practiced, I am more open to trusting that I am hungry and I want a chocolate brownie and I'm going to have one because I really want one right now, versus, oh, God, I shouldn't.
Yeah.
And there's
what voice is that? No, you bring up I'm so glad you brought up the trust, because to me, what I got from that, and this is a whole thing that I've been working on too, is what you become, what you trust in then is the judgment of others. They judge that I don't need that chocolate brownie, so okay, I must not. Well, wait, where am I in that? And the trust in yourself and your trust in that intuition and the trust in your momming and the trust in what's best for you and your kids, and instead of trusting in the judgment of others. I just love that.
And staying out of other people's business, right? It's none of my business, right? It's none of my business. So
I don't know.
Self back to, is this a mom's intuition where I need to get involved? Or is this something where it's none of my business and I just need to be aware,
Resist the temptation. Yeah, no doubt. Oh, Hayley, this has been awesome. Really. Okay. I always say this, but I feel like we could there's going to be like a Hayley part 3, a part 2, part 3, part 4, and a lot of good stuff. And really knowing you like I do, you do have a beautiful intuition and a beautiful creativity. And I've seen it grown so much over the years as you have done this work and as you have worked on self-care and meditation and all the things. And it's just been a pleasure to watch. So, and partake in, because I benefit from being part of that too. So I appreciate you so much coming on and sitting at the kitchen table and chatting with me and the other moms that are here. You can't see them. They're out there.
They're all over. I can feel them. We sense them. It's such a pleasure, Lynn, to be able to come on here and have open discussion and just be able to talk freely and know that, it's a journey and we're all different. We're all in different places, different times, different spaces, and just be open to change. Be open to what is possible and what do I want to, continue learning and growing, and why are things. One of my favorite things is, why is this happening for me?
The 4.
Why is this happening for me? You know, and why am I getting this message? You know, or you know, whatever it is. But it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me to come on and talk with you.
Oh, I loved every minute. Thank you so much. And you have to come back. I would love it. Awesome.
I will, I promise.
Thanks, Hayley. Then we will just say we'll see you next time.
Sounds good, you guys. Have a great day. See you next time.
Joining in. Bye, all. Remember to subscribe.